I now recognize Ms. Malliotakis from New York for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Dr. Tabak. Dr. Dazik came before us and said he was not sure of all the work or all the research being conducted at the WIV. Are you aware of all the work that was being done at the WIV?
Certainly not. We just have window into what we support.
Okay. Are you aware, or were you aware that the CCP, the military wing, was doing work at the WIV?
I am not personally aware of that, no.
Okay. And just for the record, Dr. Collins came before us and said that the hypothesis that the COVID-19 pandemic was a result of a lab leak or lab-related accident is not a conspiracy theory. Would you agree with that?
I think it's just an alternate theory that needs to be considered.
Okay. And we also had the former head of the CDC come before us and say that it was American tax dollars that went to the WIV, and it wasn't just NIH funding, it was funding from Department of State, Department of Defense, USAID. Are you aware of that?
I am aware that they receive funding from other organizations, but I don't know the specifics.
Okay, so there's still the possibility that American tax dollars did make their way to the WIV, and that this was a lab leak, and we can put together the dots here. But aside from that, I want to actually focus on NIH. When NIH certified EcoHealth's compliance and renegotiated the grant, was NIH aware of the EcoHealth would still be communicating with the debarred Wuhan Institute of Technology? Last year was when they were debarred, and they were still obtaining data and conducting experiments with that information.
Once they were debarred, I do not believe that there is any requirement that they can no longer have conversations with WIV. Is that the time frame?
Well, no. Well, WIV was debarred,
right,
and EcoHealth was still talking to them. Are we certain that no federal funds have gone to the WIV since the debarment?
No NIH funds have gone to the WIV since the debarment.
Okay, and is that possible that it's gone through the EcoHealth to WIV as a subgrant? Are you? I'm saying
we checked USA.spending, and to my knowledge, no funds once they were debarred went to WIV from NIH.
Okay, well, that is why Ways and Means yesterday passed a bill to make sure that all this information is made public, these subgrants, so we know exactly where this money is going once they're given, because we don't believe EcoHealth should have received this money, number one. Number two, the fact that they were working with this lab in communist China that had subpar conditions is very disturbing. But we also know that at least 20 more EcoHealth research projects received funding since March of 2020. And they're conducting research, Nipah, zoonotic viruses, bat coronaviruses, MERS. They're doing a lot of this research, mostly actually, in third world countries, subpar safety conditions. How do you ensure that our federal dollars are not going to do risky experiments in countries where there are subpar safety regulations? And do you believe that that should be a criteria that is put forth to ensure that the money doesn't?
Well, again, once we established special conditions for award on EcoHealth Alliance, we have monitored them very carefully with regard to expenditure and with regard to their various administrative processes. There was never a concern with the danger, if you will, of the experiments that NIH approved for EcoHealth Alliance to work under sub-award with WIV. As I just indicated, the viruses that they were working with are non-human pathogens and presented no threat.
But you said that you don't know all the work that was being conducted at WIV.
I can only speak to the funds that NIH approved and the work that we approved. I cannot speak to the other situations.
How are you sure about the work that we approved? How did you go there? Did you talk to WIV officials? How did you confirm that the money was not used?
We monitor reports. We monitor their publication record.
The WIV's reports.
The EcoHealth Alliance
Okay.
reports, because as a sub-awardee, we do not directly connect to WIV.
I just have one last question. In October of 2021, NIH changed the website for the definition of a gain of function. Who authorized that change?
I don't know if anybody specifically authorized.
Well, who made the change?
The change was made by our communications department because of the confusion that people have about the generic term of gain of function and the specific term gain of
Okay.
function.
So you don't know who specifically made the change?
It was done by our communications office that runs.
But the communications office is communications, they're not scientists.
they
So
cover
somebody
all
must
this.
have gave them the,
The website, the content was vetted
by who?
by individuals who are subject matter experts.
Okay. Well, we would like to find out who that person is, who is the subject matter expert, if you could let the committee.
Now recognize Ms. Castor from Florida for 5 minutes of questions.